So I don't know if you've seen my previous videos or about me, but I grew up with two parents, and both of them ended up taking their lives, sadly, through suicide. So I'm going to kind of tell you how it sort of began and where I started from and how I knew things weren't going to be normal for me. So the one memory I have is I was 5 years old, and my mother was just diagnosed with schizophrenia. And if you do have someone who is mentally ill, who is on a prescription for various things, you know that when they do get that prescription, it takes a while for them to get adjusted to it. They need to figure out the right dosages, and it's very difficult to figure that out. And this is where my people pleasing began. So my dad had to go to work, and he was leaving me alone with my mom to look after me. I was really nervous to be around her, knowing she just got out of the hospital. She wasn't quite herself, and just something seemed off. So in order to avoid him yelling at me, screaming at me, and being abusive, I said, okay, yeah, go. Like, what am I going to do? I'm 5 years old. My mother began to start pacing after a while and was like walking around talking to herself, saying that I was really sick and I had an extremely high fever. First I'm like, well, I don't feel sick. I don't have a high fever. And I told her that. She's like, no, you have a high fever. So she gave me a children's Tylenol to take in a pill. So I took it because I was 5. I didn't know any better. But she kept pacing and pacing and pacing and talking to herself. She offered me another Tylenol. And so I took it again. Then she kept pacing some more, and she said I was going to go in an ambulance because my fever was so high. Now, as a kid, at first, I was like pumped. Even though I didn't feel sick, I was like, yes, I get to go in an ambulance. Like, how cool is that? I can't wait to tell my friends in kindergarten tomorrow that I got to go in an ambulance. This is going to be awesome. But after a while, the ambulance wasn't coming. And I thought that was a little weird. And then she came again with another pill. Now, this is when I kind of was like, this isn't right. So when my mom was pacing, I started putting it into my pocket. And then she offered me another pill. And again, I put it in my pocket, and another one, and another one. And I kept putting them in my pocket. That's when I had to lie and say I had to go to the bathroom, and I flushed the medicine down the toilet because I could have possibly had something bad happen. Then I had to have the common sense to call my dad at work to come and get me or tell him that my mom was really sick, which he was very angry about that I interrupted him at work. But anyway, he came home and had to take my mom to the hospital, and in that process, he left me home alone at 5 years old. And that's when I knew that I wasn't going to have a normal childhood and that things were never going to be the same after that. And I can tell you through that and some more stories that I'm going to share that you can heal and you can grow from this. Follow and like for more.